In this video I would like to give a quick overview of the materials that I use. To start, two types of knife. This one, if you need the flexibility of the knife, you will see that in the tutorials why I need it. And this one because it is very sharp, very fine, and it isn't flexible, so it's very important for making straight cuts. And also it's important to replace your blades very often, because they need to be very sharp. So best buy the blades in a large package, like per 100, because if you buy them in small packages they will be very expensive. Then just some pliers to hold stuff in, small pieces, a needle on a stick, or I don't know how you call it. It's actually to puncture leather, to sew it, but I use it to scratch cardboard or PVC. Then a fine pencil that I just use to mark certain things on my models, but of course you can also use the point of your knife to very carefully mark some certain things on your models. An alcohol-based pen with a white tip. I will explain you later why I use this. Then this I found at a local hardware store by accident. It's very handy. I don't know how it's called in English, but it's to shave off small layers of wood if you're making a wood model. And the good thing about this is that you don't have to be like you don't have to be able to sharpen the blade. You just replace it by these very sharp shaving blades, and that's why I really like it. You don't have to be able to have the skills to sharpen it, and it's very sharp, so very precise. You can like have 0.1 millimeter every time you shave something off, so very handy. And I think it was only like €5 with a set of blades included. Then next, just some pliers to cut steel wire, or even to cut your if you have hardwood or balsa wood. If you want to cut them in rough shapes, it's much quicker with this than with a knife or with a saw. I also use brushes to brush off the model if it's almost finished, or if you have made like a curtain wall and you want to place it in your model and the back is still dirty with pieces of plastic or dust, you can easily wipe it off with your brush. Then a good tip, I didn't include it in the gluing tip section, but I use a lot of double-sided tape. This is carpet tape that they use to put carpet on your hardwood floor. So it's very sticky. It comes in various sizes, and you can use this for a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff where you don't want the regular glue to mess up your project. Like a curtain wall, I always make totally out of double-sided tape and not with glue, but I'll explain you later. Some normal painter's tape, or how do you call it in English? It's like the paper kind of tape to hold stuff together, but you guys already know that. Then two other things, needles to hold stuff together, and of course also toothpicks can be used for a lot of stuff. They can also hold things together in foam, for example, or you can use it to apply glue to certain small pieces in your project. So you can buy them in a very large stack, best. Then the rulers that I use are, this kind is the one I use the most, because the zero starts at the edge of the ruler, so you can easily measure stuff like this. It's small, it's flexible, so very handy. Then also these two rulers. This is to show you the principle. It's actually a triangular ruler where I've placed a piece of PVC with double-sided tape that makes a straight corner. So if you want to cut your pieces of cardboard, you always have a straight corner. Of course, this one I only use to draw because it's plastic, and with your knife you will cut into it. So I've made a custom one with like a ruler attached to the back, also just with double-sided tape, a ruler here, so your knife will not get into the piece itself. And then of course again the PVC backing, it's a straight corner, so every time I cut a piece it's always straight. Then I've also found these two rollers, a soft one and a hard one. These are very handy if you use all sorts of like double-sided tape or self-adhesive foil. If you really want it to stick, you apply it and then afterwards you go over it with the ruler, because then the pressure will be much larger than when you just go over with your hand or with your fist. And this is a hard one, so it will really apply some pressure. I also use some metal pieces, scrap metal pieces that I've got laying around for as a weight for something that is drying, for example, or if you need sort of a straight edge to align pieces of wood or align pieces of cardboard. You will see me using these in the tutorials, why I use it, but just to know to align stuff, and also as a weight to hold things down. And then as last, of course, the normal ruler to cut cardboard, but everybody has this. And then some custom-made tools. These are normally available in other countries or on eBay, but I haven't found them in Belgium. They're like, I don't know how it's called, but it's to hold things together, and normally if you find them in the hobby shop or on eBay, they are like blue plastic, but I couldn't find them, so I've made them myself with a stretching band. So the pressure that is applied here is not much more than when you just pull something together with your finger, so you will not damage your model. Also some cork on the edges. And this one is to measure in between places where you cannot go with your normal ruler because it's too small, like inside of a building if you're making a section model and you still need to apply some cardboard or wood somewhere. And this is to measure in between doors, for example, that are already cut, still need to be finished with wood or with finishing strips. It's easy to measure the distance if the door is already in place and you cannot measure it with a normal ruler anymore.